At night he forces Carl to get up and drags him out, even watered it and said that from now on Carl should know the position. He doesn't deserve to be lazy. Because Chief Sunday accepts black people, his name is now tarnished. Carl there, only able to survive the torture of the coach. The next day Carl's first training begins. Chief Sunday explained that in this first exercise there would be a lot of people failing because swimming and diving are two different things. He who knows Snow Hill is the best swimmer in his hometown. Then he tests Snow Hill diving skills.
Up, step forward, march. To survive is to trust. I'm the only man that get through my car.
Not being able to dive, he immediately took Snow Hill out of training. Day after day passed. Carl along with other students continue to undergo training until the written exam arrives. He got bad grades. The officer will notify if the next test there is a bad score again. Then he will be expelled from training. During semester break, he chose to go to the city library to study. There he met a librarian named Jo. She is a student majoring in nursing. But when Carl asked Jo to guide him to study, she refused and said that the lesson about the Navy was very difficult and it took months for Carl to understand. Seeing Carl's persistence, she finally decided to help him study. And finally Carl managed to get good grades. In the afternoon Chief Sunday returned to teaching diving. He then orders two new trainees named Rourke and Ashar to weld the sunken ship. But when Ashar was welding again, suddenly the ship moved until it almost fell into a ravine. In the midst of the panic, Ashar's air hose got stuck. From above everyone heard Rourke and Ashar's cries for help. Carl then volunteered to save them both, because they had no other choice. Chief Sunday then gave them 5 minutes to save them both, before they run out of air.
The ship's weight is crushing those pipes, Chief. Got 5 minutes of air in that suit if he don't panic. Use your up to chasing. Just breathe easy. Please. I wasn't made.
Sales gone. While he was rescuing them, a frightened Rook ran away from Carl. He gets annoyed but he stays focused on continuing his mission of helping Ashar.
Him up. Never doubted it.
And after that Chief Sunday read out the award from the Navy commander, but the award went to Rook instead. Even though Carl has been instrumental in saving the lives of his comrades, the commander still refused to acknowledge his services just because he was black. The other students who saw Carl's patience feel sympathy and slowly they begin to want to be friends with him. The next day he called his family in the village. On the call, his mother informed him that his father had died. Heard the news. He is so sad. His mother told him that his father purposely did not tell him about his illness so that Carl could still focus on studying and achieving his goals without worrying about his father's condition, who was seriously ill. He then asked Jo to come to accompany him. While waiting, Carl is approached by a woman. Turns out she's Chief Sunday's wife. Saw Carl cry. The chief's wife then said that they both had the same fate. Currently she is also sad because of their wedding day. Chief Sunday instead chose to party with his partner. She then invites Carl to go to the bar where her husband is partying. When they get to the bar, suddenly all members of the Navy looked at Carl and reported it to Chief Sunday. Chief then immediately scolds Carl and says black people don't deserve to be there. Heard the insults. He became angry and for the first time he dared to go against his coach. With emotion he said that his coach was jealous because he was better than him. When Jo was at the bar, she was confused by the commotion. Chief Sunday then challenges Carl to a breath-holding underwater race. If Carl loses, then the chief will remove him from the training camp, but if Carl wins, he'll let Snow Hill back into camp. Carl, who was very fed up with all the insults from his coach, immediately decided to accept the challenge. Carl finally won, finished the match. Carl is confused as to why Jo is nowhere to be found. He immediately chased after her. He then asks why Jo left. She explained that the reason she came there was to say goodbye because she had been accepted for a job outside the city and was leaving tomorrow. Heard about it. He was taken aback. He then recklessly ventured to propose to Jo. He promised after graduating training later he will definitely go to see her. The next day Mr. Pappy called for Chief Sunday. He asks Chief not to pass Carl in tomorrow's exam, no matter how. Mr. Pappy didn't want any black people to graduate from the camp, even though they both don't like Carl. But Chief hated the way Mr. Pappy abused his position for personal gain. Since yesterday's incident, he realized Carl was much better than him, but nevertheless he could not refuse the orders of the superiors. He then relayed the order to Carl. There they both argue because Carl still wants to take the exam. The emotional Chief immediately slammed the radio that Carl's father gave him, seeing the only thing left by his father was damaged. Carl is very sad. The next day when all the participants were getting ready, unexpectedly Carl came. He then looked at his coach with a look full of confidence. See that look? Chief finally had no choice and allowed him to take the exam. After all participants are ready, the exam starts. From above, several people threw the bag containing the test kits into the water. But when it was Carl's turn, the bag was torn up on Mr. Pappy's orders. In the water, he knows nothing. He was still trying to find the equipment. Several hours passed. The participants one by one successfully completed the exam, until only Carl was left in the water. Mr. Pappy, who monitors the exam, then tells Chief to let Carl stay in the water until he runs out of breath. There he felt a dilemma. He couldn't refuse Mr. Pappy's orders because his career would be ruined. While Joe was at work feeling a bad feeling about Carl, she then rushed off to the exam venue. Until late at night Carl was still
under the sea.
The chief and the other examinees seemed to be starting to get worried. Mr. Pappy kept shouting over the phone from afar to tell Chief not to help Carl. In the midst of worry, he finally decided to go against the boss's orders, and immediately ordered the other participants to raise Carl to the surface. But when they tried to pull,
Hold the line, hold the line. Almost there.
Carl suddenly rose to the surface, and he passed to al-Brashir, perfect the sim. The next day at the graduation ceremony, Snowhill came to camp to tell him the good news and the bad news. The good news is that the Navy has allowed him all to take up diving training again. And the bad news is Chief Sunday has been fired for defying Mr. Pappy's orders. By passing Carl, there he could only be silent. He then packed his things on the bed. He was surprised to see that his father's radio had returned intact. He found out that Chief Sunday fixed it. A few years later, Carl is now a senior diver in the Navy. He is also married to Joe and has a son. Currently he is carrying out the greatest mission in the history of the United States, namely to find a nuclear bomb that sank on the seabed. The commander told him when the bomb exploded, then the power of the explosion can make an entire region completely destroyed. At first the commander doubts if Carl can complete the mission alone, but he again proved to everyone that he succeeded about his success. Carl's success was broadcast live across America. Carl, who used to be despised just because he was black, now he is a hero. The commander then ordered the other members to raise the bomb to the surface, but when the bomb was lifted,